lot of Pokemon fans were not big fans of what episode 48 was presented itself to be. They say that this episode is a complete filler episode for how its entertainment was not that good in terms of a very cliche plot that is very basic, how the slingshot joke got annoying as it was used constantly without any variety of humorous gags that could have made the episode entertaining, and how the episode felt pointless for how its ending is handled. And my opinion did change for how I feel about the episode. It's not awful, but it's not great either, because the redeeming factor is Lucario and Cinderace's moments, in terms of them interacting with their polar opposite personalities. And since I am a shipper of these two, I found the moments genuinely cute and giving me hope that this duo will turn out as a powerful duo with a strong sense of chemistry with each other. Because from now on, I'll be screenshotting any moments that happen between these two when it's just small moments or big focused episodes. But I'm not going to be doing that right now. Right now, I came up with this video to try and make this episode much better in terms of character moments, fixing the issues of the plot, execution, and adding in some elements to make this more complete and not a waste of time. So today, we'll be listening to my incarnation of episode 48 to see how I can fix the episode's flaws, make it more complete and satisfying, and development for the two ace Pokemon of this series. So this is Friendship Bonds' rewrite of episode 48 of Pokemon Journeys, but in fanfiction form. As you are reading along this big summary, you can picture what would happen in this episode in terms of how my summary is going to be shown by pointing out almost every single aspect of the changes, new additions, and non-changes to this episode. I do dig the idea of a Lucario and Cinderace episode. It's just that the writers did not put enough effort into it to make it entertaining. So, enjoy my read-through summary of my rewrite of the beginning of Lucario x Cinderace. We start the episode with Ash and Go making their arrival into Castelia City in the Unova region, as Go received the reward of the all-you-can-eat gourmet food tour for winning the eating competition from the previous episode. So, Ash sends out his Dragonite and Lucario, and Go sends out his Greedent and Cinderace in order for them to join in on the fun. Cinderace wants to take this opportunity to interact with Lucario since they are not in position of battling any opponents today. So the gang started their eating food tour by trying out the famous Castelia cones. Meanwhile, Team Rocket are in their Castelia cone ice cream truck, waiting for another opportunity to snatch Pikachu, while Meowth showed them a robot mech of Pikachu, and they are going to sneakily snatch the real Pikachu and replace it with the Pikachu mech to trick Ash. This plan seems to be a good plan, but it only came with one flaw. The Pikachu's cries are off by having it say Pikachu instead of Pikachu. But they are willing to give this plan a try to see if they want to succeed with getting their hands on Ash's Pikachu. When Ash and Go arrived with Dragonite and Greedent, as they wanted to start out with trying out the Castelia ice cream cones. Jessie hands out simple vanilla Castelia cones to Ash and Go as if they are their most lucky customers to get ice cream for free. Jessie then asks if the two wanted any toppings on top their ice cream, with Go declines and Ash accepting with the idea by having his Castelia cone be filled with strawberry syrup, with fruit and cracker sticks on it. Ash and Go also asked for more cones for their Pokemon to enjoy, as Dragonite and Greedent were being handed over to. Meanwhile, Cinderace was about to approach Lucario until he heard Go call out to him if he wanted a cone too, to which he accepts the offer and gets a plain vanilla cone. The gang felt happy with their selection, and they go and sit on benches to eat their ice cream, while Team Rocket wait for the right opportunity to plot their plan. Ash, Go, Dragonite, and Greedent are enjoying their ice cream cones so far for how sweetly delicious it is, while Pikachu gets a sample piece of Ash's ice cream. As Lucario was just looking around the park, Cinderace approaches him and asks it if he could share his ice cream with him, to which Lucario agreed with a simple response, so they took turns on eating the ice cream while showing taste buds in their faces along the way. Until Cinderace accidentally bumped the cone onto the side of Lucario's face, getting his cheek dirty. Cinderace apologizes for being clumsy and takes his paw onto his face to wipe the ice cream off of his cheek, while Lucario felt really awkward out for the face touching that Cinderace did on him. And the two resume to eating their ice cream again, while Lucario holds a paw onto his cheek because it had a cold touch on it. After a little while, Ash's ice cream started to melt as it starts to get all over his hand, so he hands his ice cream to Go to have him watch it while he washes his hand. Go, unfortunately, had to hold an overwhelming melting ice cream with his own as Dragonite and Greedent watched with confusion. While Team Rocket secretly places the fake Pikachu next to the real one, and as they were about to snatch the real Pikachu, they stopped suddenly when Go slipped onto the ground from the melting ice cream and dropped both ice creams onto the ground while having his hands all sticky. The real Pikachu then notices the fake Pikachu next to him and got really confused by how another one of his species came to the Unova region. Go then went to the sink area to clean his hands off as well, leaving to Team Rocket to try and snatch the real Pikachu again. Lucario and Cinderace finished up their shared ice cream as they enjoyed it, despite Lucario keeping a paw onto his cheek the whole time because of the cold spot. Cinderace apologizes again for being clumsy for spilling ice cream on his cheek, but Lucario says in his own way it's fine and he is good. So the two decided to walk around the park to carry out a normal conversation. Team Rocket is having trouble on which Pikachu is which from the two lookalikes on the bench, until they listen to the cries very closely, and one of them said, "Pikachu!" And Meowth shoots an orange substance out of the trumpet onto the real Pikachu, covering his upper neck and mouth as it began to struggle to break free. Team Rocket then quickly snatched Pikachu and placed him in a cage compartment, so it won't escape, leaving Dragonite and Greedent even more confused at what the noise was all about and how there was a Pikachu just staring blankly on the bench. Meanwhile, Lucario and Cinderace are having a good enough conversation until they see Team Rocket bike past them, but they could faintly hear Pikachu's cries of help from the orange wrap, and the two start chasing down Team Rocket immediately without telling their trainers. As Lucario and Cinderace are chasing down Team Rocket, Meowth then shoots another patch of orange substance onto their paws, making them stop, freak out that they couldn't get the paws separated, and how they have to travel in the same pace while feeling very embarrassed on how they have to chase down Team Rocket like this. While Team Rocket made a turn, Lucario and Cinderace didn't have time to react to the pole that is in front of them, and they get slingshotted backwards for how the substance is rubber on the outside. As Lucario and Cinderace were being flown backwards, the orange substance touched another pole, and the two got sent flying forwards very fast, until they eventually crashed onto the ground, with a thud to their faces. Team Rocket joked that the two are being like idiots as they drove off with their bike, making Lucario and Cinderace kinda lose sight of them, but they kept going until they entered the city, while also not knowing that townspeople actually saw the two flying from the two poles, and they were surprised. Ash and Go came back with clean hands, while Go makes a remark to not let him control two ice creams at the same time. The Pikachu that was left on the bench called out to Ash by saying, "He got you!" And this made Ash confused on how Pikachu said its name wrong. Go then also realized that Lucario and Cinderace are nowhere to be seen either, and they started to investigate the park to find them. Team Rocket were driving their bike into the busy parts of Castelia City, with Lucario and Cinderace chasing them down once again, not wanting to lose track of them to save Pikachu. But unfortunately, Team Rocket made their chase all the more difficult by crossing the road at the last second for a bunch of cars and trucks to cross the road, making Lucario and Cinderace stop very abruptly and hilariously, while Cinderace made the idiotic decision to dash across the big gap while dragging Lucario with him for moving abruptly. Cinderace stopped to see Team Rocket still ahead of them, but got bumped on the back by Lucario as they collapsed onto each other on the ground. Lucario told Cinderace that he could have gave him a heads up to get a move on, while Cinderace apologizes for doing that, and the two continued on chasing Team Rocket down. But then they run into another city hijink, with Team Rocket making sharp turns, making Lucario turn very abruptly, making Cinderace be dragged along with him very rapidly. The sudden drag of Cinderace and the rubbery orange substance made Cinderace crash his face onto Lucario's back, leading the two crashing into a building window. After they got up, Cinderace got annoyed for how careless Lucario was for the sharp and abrupt turns. Lucario unfortunately brought up the time where Cinderace dragged him while he was crossing the road without thinking, leading to the two Pokémon to get angry. But then they brushed it off as it was not important, as they tried to find where Team Rocket went. As the two continued dashing on the sidewalk, they unfortunately slipped on a rain puddle and screamed as they were about to crash into a truck on the road. Ash and Go looked everywhere in the park for Lucario and Cinderace, but they couldn't find them anywhere, while Ash was still holding onto the fake Pikachu. So they suggested to look for them up above to see if they could find their two ace Pokemon, while possibly chase down Team Rocket to get the real Pikachu back. Go returns greetings, and Ash asked Dragonite if he could carry Ash and Go so they can continue their search from up above, to which Dragonite agreed, as he lets Ash and Go on top of his back. And then he took off flying, with Ash and Go showing worry for where their Pokemon went. Meanwhile, and after running into a lot of city hijinks on purpose or by sudden aftershocks, Lucario and Cinderace were losing steam as they really do not know where Team Rocket went now, and they panted to a stop as they were getting exhausted while also being really bruised up from running into a lot of city hijinks that when they got themselves hurt. Lucario and Cinderace started blaming each other's idiotic decisions for getting themselves hurt in the hijinks, and for making them happen in front of city people who might have witnessed them, leading them to grow tension within each other as they glared at each other in anger, until Lucario broke the tension with a sigh as he sat down on a bench with a look of worry on his face as he stares at the city around him. Lucario apologizes to Cinderace for snapping at him like that, for calling him a complete idiot, because he knew that he did not mean to get him and himself stuck into these hijinks on purpose, and admitted that he is also an idiot as well. Cinderace listened to Lucario's apology, while also making a look of guilt for starting the act of them getting themselves hurt, and also apologizes for causing them to get hurt in the first place. Lucario accepted the apology, but is too much in distress to feel better because his worry for Pikachu showed as he remembered the times where he and Pikachu got along really well back when he was a Riolu. Cinderace feels pity for Lucario as he puts his other paw on his shoulder in a way of trying to comfort him, while also saying stuff that resembles how duos can feel down at times when they don't know what they should do now. Cinderace then said in a rise of confidence that they shouldn't give up their search for Team Rocket, because they do not want to disappoint their trainers when they go back empty-handed. Cinderace then did something that Lucario thought that nobody would ever do. Give him a comforting hug of showing care to make a friend feel better. Lucario felt stunned by the hug at first, but then slowly hugged Cinderace back with his other paw, hugging his back as he then started to feel better again, thanks to Cinderace's caring, natured hug. After about a few moments of the two hugging, Lucario felt better and wanted to continue the search for Team Rocket, but then remembered the time where he communicated with Ash through Aura after he evolved, and he came up with an idea to find Team Rocket by using his Aura Sense. Lucario kept on trying to find Team Rocket with his Aura Senses through a couple of tries until he spotted Team Rocket in an alley not too far at where they are at, having Lucario lead the way with Cinderace straight close behind him while being glad that his comfort worked. Meanwhile, up in the air, Ash and Go show even more worry when they could not find Lucario and Cinderace anywhere, until they eventually saw two small specks on the ground and they assume that it is Lucario and Cinderace. So Dragonite flies downward and follows them. Team Rocket were about to take off into their big balloon until Lucario and Cinderace stopped them as they arrived at the alley. They demanded them to return Pikachu back, but of course they mock that their glares don't scare them, as they call out for their Pelipepper to drop down their Pokémon capsule, until the Pelipepper delivered the Pokémon capsule to them. They activated the capsule with Meowth's signature key emblem, and they released their Pokémon, to which they are a Sock and a Throw. Lucario and Cinderace felt uneasy of facing their two opponents, while also dealing with the fact that they are stuck together. Cinderace tried to attack one of their opponents with a Blaze Kick, but that led to Lucario dragging itself with him, making them crash into each other. James calls out to his Throw to use Circle Throw, and it did just that by sending Lucario and Cinderace flying in the air until they heard a cry of their names as they see Ash and Go with Dragonite. Ash calls out to Dragonite to use Dragon Claw to cut the substance apart. And so it did just that by cutting the middle of the orange substance, making it break open and freeing Lucario and Cinderace's paws finally. Team Rocket felt surprised that a powerful Dragon Cut succeeded on freeing Lucario and Cinderace, as Lucario landed on the ground safely and catched Cinderace in his arms, ready to strike at Team Rocket again. Team Rocket got nervous at first, but then brushed it off as they prepared to attack them again. Jesse and James demanded Sock and Throw to counterattack Lucario and Cinderace as they were both charging at them. Ash called out to Lucario to use Reversal, and Go called out to Cinderace to use Blaze Kick. And so the duo did just that, and they knocked some Suns into their two opponents. Meowth then comes in to attack with Fury Swipes, but Ash called out to Dragonite to use Dragon Claw, and it attacked Meowth by the stomach as it was sent crashing to a wall along with Sock and Throw. Lucario and Cinderace then decided to finish them off with their own signature moves by using Aura Sphere and Pyro Ball. And so they make a pretty epic shot, giving Team Rocket a final warning call to release Pikachu, to which they still refused to do so as Wobbuffet kept a grip on Pikachu. Jesse and James demanded Sock and Throw to attack them, but Lucario and Cinderace released their signature moves all at the same time. As Team Rocket got hit by the attack, as they were sent flying. And since the cage has been also destroyed, Pikachu managed to escape the grip of Wobbuffet as it dives downward, having Lucario and Cinderace jump into the air to catch Pikachu together, as they both caught him in their arms. Ash and Go saw that they succeeded on catching Pikachu, and they give out a victory fist bump. As the duo landed back down on the ground, Pikachu looked at both Lucario and Cinderace and gave them nuzzles to their faces as a way of telling them thank you for saving him from the idiotic Team Rocket. While Lucario explained in his own way that he and Cinderace went after Team Rocket so they wouldn't get away with him, despite him and Cinderace being stuck together and having to deal with bad luck along the way. Pikachu understood as he then climbs up onto Lucario's shoulder and rested on his head. Ash then pointed out that the fake Pikachu has disappeared, but Go brushed it off like it is not important. Then we cut to the gang enjoying a final batch of sweets known as the famous Castilia chocolate cake. Ash and Pikachu took turns sharing the cake with each other as they were glad that they were back together. And Go hands over pieces of chocolate cake to Dragonite and Cinderace as they were rewarded from stopping Team Rocket earlier. Cinderace was about to take a bite into the chocolate cake before he stopped himself to see if he could share his piece with Lucario. And so he walked up to him and sat down on the bench next to him. Cinderace offered Lucario a piece of his chocolate cake, and he simply took the piece. Cinderace took a bite out of his chocolate cake until some frosting got on his cheek. Lucario notices that Cinderace's cheek is dirty and wiped it off with a blush of embarrassment for how he is facial touching Cinderace. Cinderace notices that Lucario wiped his cheek off and thanked him with a blush. Lucario then took a bite out of his chocolate cake piece until the sweet taste buds of chocolate came back to him. Lucario went all "oh" mode as the taste of chocolate took over him, making a kind of cute sight for Cinderace to witness. After the taste buds died down, Lucario looked away, feeling really embarrassed for acting like an immature rascal. But Cinderace wrapped an arm around him in a side hug, telling him that he is fine because sometimes you can't help it but act cute in some way, shape, or form. Lucario understood this and undoubtedly wrapped his arm around Cinderace's body, returning the side hug, as the two give out a good chuckle, as Ash, Go, Pikachu, and Dragonite witnessed them getting along so well that they are named as a powerful duo. And the episode concludes with the final shot of Lucario and Cinderace smiling in a way of showing signs that they are getting along well. So there you have it, guys. Gosh, that was a lot of talking to do, from pointing out every single aspect on what's going on in the episode. From scene 1 up to the very end. I know this might not be my best work in terms of making this episode more satisfying, but this is what I originally thought on what would happen in the episode. But with these changes to make it better, I changed up Lucario's personality a little bit by having him be more open to Cinderace, but still having those awkward moments of facial touching. Because I want this episode to continue its personality from episode 45. But if you guys like the new personality change for Lucario, then that's a good for you from me. I also decided to be a little bit creative with the shenanigans Lucario and Cinderace would run into, like some actual city hijinks and people witnessing the two in a humorous way, because if this episode was trying to do laughs, then I tried my best to put in any different humorous moments that the duo would run into. I also don't make Ash and Go feel totally sidelined and they actually look for their Pokémon when they witness the fake Pikachu and Lucario and Cinderace's sudden disappearance. and I let some other Pokemon be involved in this episode because if this wants to be like a part 2, then I added in Dragonite and Greedent in here for them to feel relevant from the last episode. Because if this episode is going to be a part 2 to episode 47, I gotta make this episode feel like an actual continuation by using characters from last episode to join in the fun without interrupting the actual plot of the episode. So, if you guys enjoyed this read-through of my rewrite of episode 48 and the beginning of another awesome and adorable duo, comment down below on what you think of this rewrite of this episode, and I'll probably type out the actual episode in fanfiction form if you guys wanted to picture this rewritten episode in your heads while reading it. So, I hope you all have a good day, because with the snowstorm flooding my house, I'm certainly going to try and keep myself warm. I'll catch you guys later!